Bjorn Furunap. He says, we seem to focus for obvious reasons on the what and the how of the universe. The why never seems to get much scientific attention because it assumes, I imagine, that there is a purpose which physics does not really need. With that in mind, is not the why an important factor for human curiosity? And should we not then seek to not necessarily find a reason for the universe, but encourage those who seek purpose and thus understanding? Okay.
Damn.
It's philosophical in
Damn.
nature.
Just at this time of the morning?
I know, he went, hey. So you don't need a why, is what I'm saying, but shouldn't we still ask why?
All right. So I have a response for that.
Okay.
I've thought deeply about this, by the way.
I know you have.
So in physics, we declare full understanding of something when we can account for all the behavior we've seen it exhibit and predict all future behavior that it might undergo. Mm-hmm. And we know what it'll do when we poke it, when we heat it, when we freeze it. And we say, we understand this thing.
I know what you did last summer.
I know what you did last. I know what you will do. So let's take gravity for an example. Okay. Right. So you can say, well, what is gravity? How does gravity work? And then you say, well, why is gravity? You can, let's go in this sequence, I suppose. And I'm here to tell you that we can launch space probes from Earth, a moving target, and hit a moonlet around an asteroid, point blank, having sent a space probe to where it would be when they both got to the same point at the same time. Yes, it is rocket science. Yes, it is involved a precise understanding of gravity. Mm-hmm. We're good with that. If you want to try to now understand why, why did the spacecraft hit its target? Mm-hmm. Because we did the calculations and we gave it the right acceleration and we knew where the target was when it was going to get there. That's why it hit.
I love that joke, by the way.
Which one?
Why did never mind. I'm sorry.
Why the asteroid cross the road?
Well, because the way you said it was like, why did the chicken cross the road? And then your answer was, because we did the calculations and we saw exactly where it was going to hit. Like,
my favorite answer to why did the chicken cross the road is, can't the chicken cross the road without having its motives questioned every time? It's just
okay, let me give you the black version of that.
Oh,
Why did the chicken cross the road? Why are you in my business?
Who asked you?
Exactly. All right.
Why? That's why.
That's why.
All right. So the point is, you can say, let's say the pie is up on a table and it falls to the ground.
Right.
You say, why did the pie fall to the ground? Mm-hmm. And I can say, well, because you pushed it.
Right.
That should be sufficient response to that why question. Okay. Well, you pushed it, but there's a little more going on. If we were floating in space and you pushed it, it wouldn't fall at all because there's no net gravity vector there that will have the thing fall. It's in free fall. It'll just float.
Okay.
So there are plenty of questions where the why is a completely satisfactory answer. We can give you a why for it. Okay. Why were you T-boned at the intersection? Because you ran the light. Okay. There's no end of questions for which the why, there's no end of situations for which the why question has a completely legitimate answer that we're all satisfied with.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
It becomes an issue if you try to take a philosophical step and then try to explore why as the consequence of intent.
Gotcha.
In so doing, you are handing intent to things that might have no intent at all. And therefore, you are forcing an intent where there might not have otherwise been one. And therefore, you're forcing an answer. And now you're chasing ghosts at that point.
Right. And he answered his question, and you just confirmed it. He said, it's not necessary. So basically what you're saying is, for the purposes of science, if what we're really concerned about is science, we don't need that.
Well, or I have answers that are science that are satisfactory answers to the question why.
I don't, and I should have said that too. I don't need to go beyond that because the science has been satified. So beyond that,
or you're satisfied because I have a scientific answer for why something happened.
Right.
Okay. Because why is Earth warming? Because we are adding greenhouse gases to the chemical mixture of the atmosphere.
Right.
That is a complete contained answer to the question why. So I will not cede the accusation that science is not about why. I will not say that.
Right.
There are plenty of why questions where we are all completely content with the scientific answer for it.
Right. And so there you go. And like you said, going beyond that, you're creating a dragon and then chasing the dragon.
You created the dragon, correct.
You created the dragon and now you're chasing the dragon.
And you want to give meaning and significance to the existence of the dragon you created, where there was never a dragon there to begin with.
There you go. Well, look at that, Bjorn. You started off by saying that you were going to ask a profound question. I got to give it to you.
But what I do want to say is,
go ahead.
If you're going to say, well, because one of them is, what is the meaning of life? That's not a why question. That's a what. Okay. And I might say that meaning is what you make of it, given that you have power over objects and events and things and places and people in your influence. You can create meaning rather than just simply look for it. Most people are looking for meaning like it's under a rock or behind a tree. Right. And then they spend their whole lives in search of meaning. And I'm saying, make the meaning. And derive your meaning from that.
Okay.
Now you might say, well, why should we have meaning in life? I would say, in our experience, people with more meaning in their life lead a more fulfilled life. And to be fulfilled is, in our short time on earth, maybe something we should all seek so you can have a better time. Why do you want a better time? You could keep doing this.
Yes.
But I would ask you, what is the end game of that? Where will you be satisfied with your sequence of asking why? Because if you're never satisfied, then you're not useful on the moving frontier of science where we can land a target moving in space.
Right.
Where we can take pictures of the early universe in a telescope parked 1 million miles in orbit around Earth, 1 million miles from Earth, called the James Webb Space Telescope. While you're asking questions, we are answering questions. While you're asking why questions in the dragon that you just created, we are answering questions and advancing civilization. So, yes, I am discounting many people who are asking why about many things. But so many other things where you ask a why, the answer when drawn from science or even from culture or whatever else is a perfectly satisfactory answer that no one would further question.
Well, there you have it. That was very, very necessary.
Yeah.
All of that you just said, very, very necessary. I mean, it speaks to so many other things than just this question from Bjorn. There's so many.
Yeah, it does. It stretches beyond the limits of the question itself. Yes.